Welcome to the Assassin's Creed The Complete Story. So you think the new Assassin's Creed 4 looks amazing, but you have no idea what's going on and you don't want to be lost. Well, we here at Eligible Monster are huge Assassin's Creed fans. Like, we're really into most games other than sports. Do any of our viewers really even play games like Madden? So we're going to get you caught up on this series, but it's not going to be in our normal style of going through the games. But we're going to actually go through the protagonists and the main plots for this series one at a time. As a fan of the series, I feel that this might be the best way for us to help explain everything that's going on, since the game itself is a weird form of time travel. So for the first episode is going to be all about the overall plot involving the first civilization and what their goals were. Then we'll move into more important characters' complete stories. That should get you caught up for Assassin's Creed 4. After we get done with that, we'll be hitting up the rest of the primary cast. In the comments below, tell us who you think the best character in the entire series is. Alright, enough wasted time. The information here is gathered from the wiki and our first-hand experiences in the games, books, and graphic novels. Remember, the following discussion is a plot in a video game. And while it contains its own ideas about, creation of the universe and throws out all the religions that we currently know, it's still just a video game. Assassin's Creed is about a few things. The biggest plot point in the Assassin's Creed vs. Templars is the eternal struggle to acquire a piece of Eden. These pieces of Eden, and exactly how powerful they are, is an element that is always in flux in the game. But the actual purpose of a piece of Eden is to control the people around. As we learned very early on in the plot of these games, the pieces of Eden were created by a very early civilization, the first civilization. And the Assassins and Templars are in an eternal struggle directed by these people, and it is all here to save the world from destruction. But who is the first civilization? They are also called in this series those who came before and the precursors. And they are an ancient and an advanced species, or humanoids. They look very similar to us, but they are taller and have a 30% larger head. Where they come from, we may never know. And Minerva, one of the key members of these people, simply states that they came before us. As stated by Juno, the first civilization created humans very early on to use as cattle. To ensure that they could remain in control of their human cattle at all times, they created the pieces of Eden to tap into a neurotransmitter located deep within the human brain and give the possessor control of them. However, as time would progress, some humans were born without this mind control chip. It was theorized by Subject 16 that this is due to the hybrids of humans and the first civilization. The first civilization was happy with their human cattle. That is, until Adam and Eve stole the Apple of Eden. Soon, a full-scale rebellion of humans versus their gods started. And while the first civilization had better technology, the humans had sheer numbers. Combined with the fact that a good portion of the humans couldn't be controlled by the pieces of Eden effectively anymore, the first civilization wasn't looking too good in this war. It took time and a lot of casualties, but eventually the first civilization did win this war. But it was at a great cost. They were blinded to all else by this war, and failed to see the impending danger from the heavens. 3 key members of the first civilization took it upon themselves to find a way to prevent this from happening: Minerva, Jupiter, and Juno. They saw the incoming destruction of their planet during the war and went underground into temples to try and research an answer. They went through 6 methods, trying everything from downloading their brains to a new body, to even using the pieces of Eden as a way to will the war away so they could stop this. None of their methods ever worked, but during their studies, Juno began to despise and hate the humans for bringing in this war to them. Her reasoning was that they could have found an answer to the end of the world if there was no war, and all of the first civilization minds were helping them. Seeing her build more and more hatred towards the humans, and concerned with what she may do, Jupiter and Minerva imprisoned Juno. The danger that ended their world was never really specified, but it was theorized by Sean Hastings and Lucy Stillman that the world-ending event was a massive solar flare that flipped the Earth's weakening magnetic field. This reversed the polarity and made the planet geographically unstable. While both races survived, they were in very few numbers. The first civilization was already in small numbers, and they never fully recovered from this disaster. While they were becoming extinct from this disaster, the humans began to prosper. The first civilization saw the errors of their ways, and through their research, they knew this catastrophe would happen again. It was at this time that they took steps to prevent it from ever happening again. Minerva created vaults where she recorded a series of holographic and interactive warnings for those who would find them. The location of these vaults would eventually become the city of Rome, and it is here that she warned of this impending doom. Thousands of years would pass, with dust gathering on the holographic temples of Minerva, and Juno devising an escape from her prison. It was on one day in 1499 that these warnings would be released, and all of the events would start again. Minerva appeared to Ezio Auditore in a holographic form. She would explain that she was not speaking with him, but to Desmond Miles, who at the time was reliving the memories of Ezio. She would warn Desmond through Ezio to find the temples and that the end was coming. She was pushing for him to find the work that her, Jupiter, and Juno were working on so that somebody could complete it and save the world. Desmond's journey would take him all over the world and through time, but we'll cover that later in a Desmond-centric episode. But eventually, Desmond would end up at the Grand Temple. It is here that Desmond would meet with Juno through Connor's memories. She would explain who she is, and she would also say that she found a seventh answer to the end of the world, and that she can save everyone. Desmond would spend much time learning about all of the attempts the first civilization made to try and prevent this from happening. But ultimately, Desmond and his team would find out that they were too late, and there was no way to stop it from happening again. Minerva and Juno would give Desmond two options. Minerva wanted Desmond to let the world end, which would allow Desmond to leave the Grand Temple to what remains of the human race as a messiah of sorts. This would cause the same cycle to happen again, with hopefully the next group finishing the research to save the planet. Juno wanted Desmond to use her seventh solution, the Eye. She said that this would shield the world from the solar flares, but it would in return release her. Once released, she could go forward with her plans to conquer the human race. Minerva would plead for the sake of everything for Desmond to not release Juno, but ultimately, he does. The world is saved, Juno is free, and Desmond perishes. So what will happen to the only surviving member of the first civilization? Will Assassin's Creed 4 answer this question, or will we move to another saga of confusion? What will be revealed through our new pirate assassin, Edward? I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be getting to our next character video soon. We need to get you guys caught up with all the important people before you start Assassin's Creed 4. Make sure you check out our other complete stories, Metal Gear, Resident Evil, Zelda, BioShock, and Kingdom Hearts. Also, check out our Lore Meets Reality series. By the time this episode is up, we should have our theory video on BioShock plasmids. Lastly, make sure you follow us on Twitter and join us on our Let's Play channel. We buy games, we record footage, people seem to like it, so I'm not gonna argue. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.